Hello artists! In this tutorial we're going to work on our colored pencil usage. Colored pencils are great for filling in spaces with flat color, and they also can produce a lovely range of colors if you blend and layer them. This can really enhance the realism and depth you can get in your drawings. So let's jump into learning some new skills in order to enhance our colored pencil application. For this tutorial, you're going to need a pencil sharpener, the set of 24 colored pencils in the art room, and then this worksheet to follow along with, so that way we're all on the same page and tackling the techniques together. Let's get started with picking our colored pencils. We're going to use specific colors so that way we can work on our pencil pressure and our blending, and we want those colors to look good together. So we're gonna pick orange to practice our pencil pressure, and then we're gonna pick a red, an orange, and a yellow to work on our blending. And I'm going to recommend specific colors from your set. So we're gonna be working with the orange number 5. We're gonna look for and grab the number 8 red, and you'll also need the number 4 yellow. The reason we're picking these, red, orange, and yellow, is because the layering and blending makes a huge difference. It really impacts your blending if you pick colors that are analogous or sit next to each other in the color wheel, so they'll look good together. And also, if it's too dark or too light of a color, it can affect when it transitions to the next color. So for example, if I were to pick this dark red, it would look very different transitioning from this darkish red into this orange. So we want to work with this number 8 for today. Make sure your pencils are nice and sharpened, and then let's get started. You might be thinking, ugh, I can use colored pencils. I can just use one color and fill in an area. And you're not wrong. If you can do that, fabulous. That means you can also do the rest of these skills in this tutorial, because that means you can control your pencil pressure. And that is key. When you're using a colored pencil, just standard to fill something in, you are already controlling your tool. Today we're going to work on being able to control your tool to create a darker color, like so, and a lighter color, like so. So we're going to work on our pencil pressure in order to enhance our colored pencil techniques. So let's see how we can control our pencil pressure and practice changing our pencil pressure. If you think of your hand as the paper, because you can't really see the paper move, when we are pressing really hard, so if my hand is the pretend paper and your pencil is on it and you want to make your pressure really, really hard and get a dark color, you're going to press down like this, and then you're going to, move your pencil back and forth across the surface. So you're really, really pressing hard. And when you want to lift off, or you want to get a lighter color, you're going to, instead of pressing down on the paper like so, and then lift off of your paper, our hand is our pretend paper, and then you'll skate across the paper ever so slightly, and that gets you this light pencil pressure. So it'll look like this. I'm pressing super hard, and I'm gonna I'm lifting the pencil up off the page, slowly lifting. And as I'm doing that, I'm changing it to be a lighter orange. So we're gonna do that in this first box. We're gonna control our pencil and go from dark to light eventually. But to start off with colored pencil, it's a lot of layering. It takes a lot of patience. We're gonna go with a light pencil pressure first. So we're hard pencil pressure to a light pencil pressure. We're gonna remember what that feels like, and we're gonna actually start with that first because we want to build up our layers. We're gonna practice building up our layers. So I'm gonna, instead of holding my pencil upright like this, I'm gonna turn it at an angle. I already pressed a little harder than I wanted to, but that's okay. I'm gonna lift off. So I'm starting on the darker side too. I'm gonna lift up a little bit and go all the way across to the right side. Fabulous. It's like barely colored in. I'm gonna go back and do another layer with a little bit harder of a pencil pressure. Not too hard though. It's okay if you go out of the box for this. The goal is to focus on your pencil pressure. Okay, so now it shows up more orange. I know it doesn't look super orange with the lighting on here, but it is the orange pencil. I've been using the orange pencil the whole time. Okay, so now we're gonna go back and we're gonna press a little bit. We're gonna go even harder all the way from here to about like here. Not with the hardest pencil pressure that you have, but just like a medium pressure. So it's starting to turn the box darker. Okay, and I'm gonna stop. Okay, now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do another layer. Pressing a little bit harder this time. And I'm gonna stop about right here. So you can kind of see how we have it pretty dark. It's like a medium and then it's light. I kind of have some lines for that gradient shift. And I also have all these gaps, and this is normal. All these gaps are the tooth of the paper. So I'm actually going to put another paper underneath. The texture of the table is getting picked up. And instead of going left to right, now I'm gonna go back in to fill those gaps. I'm gonna start making little circle motions, kind of like this. We call this scumbling. So I'm just making these kind of curly motions, and it's gonna fill in those holes, those gaps. Sometimes you'll have gaps a lot, like on this paper, or other papers you won't have any gaps. And it really just depends on your paper and the tooth of your paper. So I'm not pressing super hard. I'm really just pressing, so it's like a medium pressure. I'm not going in like this. I'm not doing that. It's just to lightly fill in these gaps. And as I'm going to the right, I'm going even lighter, so I'm not filling them in with a darker pencil pressure. And they probably won't all get filled in. This is just for practice. They won't get all filled in because we're not going to spend too much more time on this. And I'm keeping my pencil pressure super light as I'm getting to the edge of this box. Okay, so now we've got orange, an orange gradient with harder pencil pressure, medium pressure to light pressure, all the way in this box. So we've created a gradient. So that is our first gradient. So now we're gonna use our pencil pressure knowledge and practice that we just did in order to create a gradient or blend red into orange into yellow in this box here. What we don't want to happen, which is a common mistake, we're just gonna practice. What we don't want to happen is this right here. So as you can see in this box, we have just like straight red and then straight orange and then straight yellow, where it ends up looking like they're just like different boxes like this that get filled in like that. And that's not creating a gradient. That's not creating a nice flow of transition from red to orange, orange to yellow. And even when you layer on top of it like this, that doesn't do anything. That kind of blended the color, but then it's really harsh. You can see how it just jumps super harshly. And same with this. So this is a really common mistake, is it just kind of looks like scribbly, or it just looks like blocks. We don't want that. What we want is a nice smooth transition from red into orange, into this orange yellow to yellow. So it's like we're painting. We're mixing colors as we're transitioning from each color. To do this, it takes lots of layers and lots of patience. So we're going to start with light layers. So we're not going to press super hard. We don't want to do our super hard pressure. We're going to start with a light layer of red all the way from here to about like here. And then we'll layer orange and then yellow. So that'll look like this. We're going to take our red really, really light. So something like this. Not a hard pressure, not a super dark red. And we're going to go all the way from here to about like here. So almost halfway. We want to keep it light so it looks natural. If we press really, really hard, then it'll be tougher for us to make this look blended. Okay, so I'm going to stop right about here. It's kind of picking up some texture under there. That's okay. Now I'm going to switch to the orange, and we're going to do another light pressure. On the orange, we're going to go from like here, right there, to like here. So it will be on top of the red. It'll look blocky at first, but it'll change. We're doing a light pencil pressure of orange. Keep going past the red all the way till we get about like here. And then we're gonna go to our yellow. Same idea. We're gonna do yellow light from here at the end of the scale to about like here. So it will look blocky at first. Super light pressure. Okay. So we're starting to see kind of the blocks. That's okay, but it's not gonna look like this. We don't want it to look like that. So moving forward, now we're gonna take our red again, and this is where we're gonna up our pencil pressure. So not quite that hard yet, just a little bit more than this. So just a little bit darker. Not like this yet, not yet. So I'm gonna do another layer, pressing a little harder. And this time when I go over the orange, it's going to start blending it. What happens is that the colored pencils, so I'm gonna kind of go back and forth, the colored pencils, and I'm gonna stop right about here. The colored pencils are mixing themselves on the paper. So now I'm done with the red, the orange. I'm gonna go back to where I started the orange. A little bit more pressure, not too much, and continue the orange all the way down to this, where my finger is. And it's starting to happen, starting to blend. And then I'm gonna stop when I get there, and I'm gonna go back with the yellow. I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna go from this side, the right side, all the way to where my finger is over here. Light pressure, still light pressure. So cool. You can see it's already mixing here and it's already mixing there naturally. Okay, this is where it starts to get a little tricky, but we're just gonna keep working it and it'll start to form even more. Now we're gonna take these scumbling, these little like circular motion, this idea, and we're gonna start doing that as we work our way from the red to the orange. So it starts to fill in the gaps, these little white pocket spots of the tooth of the paper, and also blend the color. Not super hard pencil pressure either, just another layer of a medium pressure. If you're not seeing it get darker, then you're probably not pressing hard enough, but again, it shouldn't be super hard. And this time, as I'm dragging it into the orange, I'm gonna stop right here. As I'm dragging it into the orange, you should see it's darkening it and it's blending it even more. We're gonna do the same thing with the orange. We're gonna go from here all the way to there. So it's affecting, and I'm not gonna change. If I do it right there, it's gonna create a line. I'm gonna just do a really light, like circular, a little over the edge, and then I'm gonna take it all the way to right here again. And as I'm getting into the yellow, I am going to lighten my pressure a little bit because I don't want it to be super orange. It should be a yellow orange. And there is a line here, so I'm going to take my orange and just softly kind of do this scumbling where I'm doing these circular motions just to kind of get it to fade out a little bit. Great. And then we're going to do the same with the yellow. We're going to do the circle motions back and forth, the scumbling. And then as we get into this orange, it's going to blend out that line. And as we drag the yellow out a little bit more, it won't look as harsh. There we go. So it's starting to transition even more. So now we can really press harder with our red. And we're going to take it not super hard pressure, but more firm pressure than before. I'm going to keep my circular diagonal motions, and I'm going to do that as I'm kind of going into the orange. I'm not going to take it quite down as far as we used to, because now this is where you have to kind of adjust where you think you might have a line. You want to just kind of scumble along that line and then softly. So I'm changing my pencil pressure here. I'm softly bringing out this red. And I'm doing the same thing with the orange and the yellow. So you're just kind of working all the colors together, and any line that you see that might need some more blending, you're just kind of taking care of that by softly scumbling along the edge, like that line, and then the edge of where those colors transition and meet. And for mine, my red needs to be a little bit darker. So I am going to finally go in with a harder pencil pressure and then do my circular scumbling motions so it's not a super hard line. So we're not just going up and down or side to side. This is helping soften. Fabulous. Okay, this looks really great on mine. I need to address this a little bit, and the orange I know is kind of finicky with showing up. So make sure you're looking at yours to check to see, do you have any of these like vertical lines that are sticking out? And if you do, then go back with your colored pencil and lightly do this circular scumbling to help get it to not really have a line anymore. So I've got my yellow. This is really my last area I need to address. And I'm pressing a lot harder, and then I'm scumbling in that section that looks like there's kind of a line. All right, so now that you have done your colored pencil gradient practice, you can tackle the rest of the objects below. Experiment with different colors of pencils. Try blending them together from left to right, or maybe the bottom of your object to the top of it, so it's going more vertical, or even just one color. Maybe not blending, but just practicing your pencil pressure with one color. So great work, and happy colored pencil blending.